Well, I want to welcome you to this experience of Hope Starts Here. We're walking together as a church family, united spiritually, even though we're separated physically, in this journey with our friend Jesus to Easter. And that light reminds me every day that he is the light of the world. Not just that, but that he tells us to let our light shine. And we want to spend a few moments with him now. So if you would, still your mind. You might want to close your eyes for a moment and just let your body relax and take in a deep breath of hope and breathe out fear. And breathe in generosity and breathe out selfishness. Each day, our aim is to see Jesus more clearly and love him more dearly and follow him more nearly. And today we come to a little verse in the Gospel of John that has become the most famous verse in all the Bible. I'll bet you know it. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him, trusts him, should not perish, but have everlasting life. And what we want to see in Jesus today is that he is generous Jesus because love gives. When a parent loves a child, when a friend loves a friend, when somebody falls in love with another person, you just want to give. You can't help it. It's possible to give without loving, but it's not possible to love without giving. And then because we are to follow Jesus, because we have been made in the image of this generous God, we also are to be generous. One of our kids, remember when they were little, said one time, if God wants me to be happy and grateful all the time, why didn't he just give me what I want all the time? Because I'm always happy when I get what I want. But if you're a parent, you know, always giving your kid what your kid wants is not a good strategy for raising a generous child. We were made to give. There is a kind of strength that comes in giving that comes in no other way. And God demonstrates his love for us in that he gave to us his best gift, Jesus. And we're undone by that kind of gracious generosity. There's a wonderful story. You might have read the book or seen the movie that was made on it called Babette's Feast. And it's about in the 19th century, a brilliant French chef who's washed up on the shores of a little community in a very impoverished Northern European town. And she's taken in by two sisters of a religious community whose leader, their father, died many years earlier. And they're very strict and they're very legalistic and there's not much joy there. But they take Babette in and they allow her to cook for them. And kind of like the people with whom I grew up, the cooking is not very fancy. They teach her how to make lutefisk, which you soak in lye for 3 days and boil all the flavor out of. And so she does it. One day she gets word that her cousin, who would buy her a lottery ticket every year, tells her that the ticket has won. She's won the French lottery, 10,000 francs. And so to celebrate, she fixes this magnificent feast. Live squab, huge living turtle, quail, partridge, pheasant, hams, beef, every fresh vegetable. And the little community gets together, and in order to not hurt her feelings, they say they'll eat the feast. But in order to honor God, they say they won't enjoy it. But what happens is, as they begin to eat and drink her fine wines, their coldness melts, and their resentments against each other melt. And there's a spirit of love that is reborn. And they walk away transformed people. And the sisters say to Babette, well, I guess we'll be losing you now. And she said, no, I can't leave. And they say, but what about all the money that you've won? And she says to them, I've spent it all. And they say, that's too much. And she says, no, an artist is never poor. God is never poor. The one who gives is never poor. And that is what we love about Jesus, so that we can see him more nearly and love him more dearly, follow him more nearly. God, where could I be generous today? Where could I be Babette today? I'll see you tomorrow.